joined today by Justin Virgin, Executive Director of Terrain Minerals, who are advancing the Lightning Gold Project in the Murchison region of Western Australia. Justin, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us again, Dave. Good to see you.
We only caught up a short while ago at another conference, probably a couple of months ago, but a lot has happened at Lightning. Can you run us through some of the highlights of the recent activities?
We're pretty focused on this project. So now that we have a model that works, being rolled out a large IP program because we're finding an association with gold to sulfides, but not bound to. They're not together, they're apart, but it's allowing us to hone in. So we've done a large IP program over wildflower. We put some results out the other day. We're only looking for a sniffer gold, and we've got some great high-grade hits over a very big area on 3 targets. So this looks like another Lightning, which is very exciting. This is all we wanted to prove at this point. And we've extended our IP over another lookalike at Lightning on the Mining M, as well as Paradise City and Hurley. So there's a lot more news on the IP front, which is what's making the discoveries here.
You recently completed a diamond drilling program at Lightning, not to look for high grade, but to look for the right rocks. Can you talk us through the theory, but also what it means to the understanding of the structure?
Yeah, it's important. So understanding how the mineralogy actually sits, and there's one reason we did it, but the other reason is for density readings. So there is up to 8 different types of rocks here. We need to know the density of each rock because each different rock has different amounts of gold. So when you're doing a MRE or your JORC calculation, you need to be precise. And that's the reason we've done it. It's an important step. It was quite successful. We've tested all the areas. We weren't chasing big zones of gold. If we were, we would have drilled them in different places. We were chasing geological information. Maybe not super exciting. Our last set of RC results are crackers. I think that's what the market likes, but same as our metallurgy results are doing at the moment. There's a lot of other studies, a lot of other work that goes into generating an MRE or a JORC resource that we need to do to be able to put it out. So they're important steps, but maybe not super sexy, but we're getting on with it.
And you also identified and unearthed essentially 2 structures within this project area, Lightning and Monza. What have you learnt about the structures, but also, again, what does it tell you about the potential scale of this project?
What we're seeing now, and if you look at our presentations, you can see sort of the plates, I guess, modelling up, but we're seeing 2 mineralisation events so far. The one sort of Lightning structure is gold and silver, where the Monza structure is just gold. And we're potentially seeing other structures starting to emerge. So this thing's open at depth. Both known structures are open along strike, and we need a lot more work. So when the MRE comes out, it's going to allow us to go back and target the plates to extend with a bit more certainty, to add a lot more ounces, we hope, a lot quickly, instead of bigger scale drilling we've been doing to date.
You touched on metallurgy before. You've done a lot of work in that area. What does the metallurgy tell you about this project and potentially how it will develop?
We haven't got those results back, and that's actually getting done now. So they're due back in the next month, 6 to 6 weeks. But we're seeing, similarly doing IP, which reads sulfides. You don't really want your gold associated with sulfides. It could be hard to get it out. But we're seeing zones of sulfides, and then a few meters away, we're finding the gold. So there's an association with, not bound to, is what we're seeing. And hopefully that's going to come through with the met studies, and hopefully we'll get some good recoveries. But once again, the work's getting done. It's not super sexy, but it's in the pipeline.
All eyes are on the initial resource that's due to come out in July. When that does land, and it's probably important to understand that when it lands, it's not the end. It's very much the beginning of the expansion of this project. What comes after that?
Like I just said, basically once we've got these plates moulded up, we know where to target smart and start either fill some gaps in, but also chase it along strike and at depth, but within a pittable sort of scenario or thinking, because that's the first stuff you'll mine. I think it's also gives us a lot more knowledge for our other targets, which are also proving up. And it allows us to do a mining study, which then potentially allows us to look at some partners to get some quick cash flow. There are mills in the area that we potentially can get into, and there are companies out there who have a track record of coming in and helping juniors get into production and help funding that for a share of the gold. So do we sacrifice a little bit of the gold and share a bit of it to get into cash flow, which allows us to grow the company a lot quicker. And I think a lot of companies who've done that have been getting rewarded. And then the cash flow can then fund a proper drill out, and we can just show how big this thing's going to become.
And before we do finish, I do need to ask you about your Pilbara Gold project. That it's in a great location, great neighbourhood that has identified and really built some significant gold discoveries in the area. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that's planned to move forward?
Well, early days, there's literally, everyone says there's no exploration on the ground, but we're the first people to identify the structure and do soils on it. And then we've done a machine learning study, which has made a discovery up in the Pilbara before in a major gold project. So we've got a machine learning study, lines up with soils, and we've got a nice gold anomaly appearing on a 12-kilometre square area. And we're going back to some infill soils. Very exciting, early days, but it's a strong signature. We got all the right trace elements for gold. And we got 2 other machine learning targets there, which we haven't even looked at yet. So for excitement on an early stage, this is the real deal. But let's see, let's not get too carried away. But it's a very encouraging, first step.
A significant milestone ahead for Lightning, only weeks away. We watch with interest. Justin, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having us go.